Hello and welcome to another video. So before we open up ArcGIS Pro and start running all this analysis in 3D, there's a couple of things we're going to need first. We're going to need to understand our study area in as much detail as possible, decide on a study area. For this, I'm not too fussy, I'm just going to use this as a demonstration. However, if you have a particular area of interest or perhaps a customer requirement, then you're going to need to be a lot more fussy. Once we've done that, we're going to want to understand the area as much as possible. My suggestion is you use something like Google Maps, zoom in, have a look at the area, and just become familiar with it. One of the most useful things on Google Maps is the ability to use Street View. So if you zoom into a particular area, grab the little man from the bottom right and drag him into one of the roads that turns blue. This will always be slow during a demo. Then you'll be able to look at the area as if you were there. This can be particularly useful for gathering information on the height of vegetation and the types of tree, as well as give you just a general idea of what the area looks like. Also pay attention to the types of buildings, some of their facades, or what the walls of them look like. This can become useful later on when we do our really detailed modeling in City Engine. But for now, we're just going to use it to get a feel for the area. Okay, once we've done that, the next one we're going to look at is Bing Maps. Bing Maps is very similar to Google Maps with just a few key differences. So we can click on the different layers and flick through. We've got imagery. It might be from a different date, so it's worth having a look at that. There's also a version of Street View, and we can look at Ordnance survey mapping when it loads. However, the most useful thing is if we zoom into a particular area, right click, we can get a bird's eye view. I'll give this a second for load, and what this is going to do, this is going to give us oblique imagery onto an area, okay? So again, if you are doing any 3D modeling, or you just want to see the relative differences in heights between vegetation and buildings, what the roofs look like, this can be really useful for getting a perspective view. So I suggest you have a look at this as well as Google Maps in order to really fully understand your area. Be aware these two imagery sources might be from different dates. Okay, once we've had a look at an area and we're happy with it, and we want to start doing some analysis, we're going to need some actual GIS data. Now, there's plenty of different places you can go to get that. I'm just going to give you two examples for this project. The first one is the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, so DEFRA, and this is their data services platform. You can just type this into Google and this will pop up, and once you're in there, click on Surveys. Now, this will give you their web map viewer, and this will enable you to download data. And the way to do that is zoom to your chosen area. And once you've zoomed to the chosen area, you're going to want download your data selected. You can click on this little polygon button and draw over your AOI. So I'm going to do that now. Double click to finish and it will turn a yellowy greeny color. And then once you're happy with that, click big down arrow. This will take a second, and once it's finished searching, it will tell you all the available data you've got in your area. Okay, so that's finished searching, so let's see what we've got available. You can click on the top drop down to find out all the data available, okay? So there's several different types of LiDAR data, and then there's more LiDAR data from the National LiDAR Collection Program, okay? It's worth having a look at both of these to see if there's any differences in terms of the date or the quality of the data. Also, right at the bottom, we can see vertical aerial photography tiles, okay? So this is 20 centimeter color imagery of the area. Personally, the data I've downloaded is the LiDAR point clouds, and that will give you a choice of years, and I've picked 2014. And then I've also downloaded the aerial photography, again from 2014, okay? In order to download either of those, make sure the correct one is selected, and click the Get Available Tiles button. And this will begin downloading. You can choose where to save it. So I've already downloaded both of those, so I'm not going to do that now. And then finally, the last one is Openstreetmap. So Openstreetmap is going to give you vector data for the area. So points, lines, and polygons of things like buildings, roads, railway lines, water courses, etc. So that's going to be really useful. In order to download that, zoom to the area of interest, click export. It's going to give you this window here. You could just export everything you can see, or you can manually select an area. Once you're happy that you've got a big enough area to cover your area of interest, click export. And save that in the correct location. Okay, so if you've carried out all those steps, you'll understand your area. You'll know what it looks like because you've looked at Street View. You're going to have LiDAR data, imagery, and vector data. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the next video.